Marley Q. Casanova, better known as simply as Marley Q, is an award-winning event creator, yoga teacher, kind speaker, and philanthropist on a mission to inspire people to park, which is performing acts of random kindness. As the founder of the Park Project, her mission is to spread the message of park, which is, I said, performing acts of random kindness worldwide through the one-of-a-kind event she creates, like the 5K Park Fest, which inspires thousands of people to participate every year, benefiting dozens of nonprofit organizations and schools. Marley is a truly one-of-a-kind spirit with an unquenchable thirst for service and a natural talent for inspiring, energizing, and uniting people for good. Marley Q has over 15 years of professional experience producing large-scale community building and fundraising events. Her servant leadership style, radiant energy, and relentless passion for philanthropy has helped raise over $1 million for dozens of nonprofit organizations in South Florida. She says, "My mission is to inspire people, companies, and organizations worldwide to be the spark." Welcome, Marley Q.
Wow, thank you so much for that beautifully kind introduction.
Well, I had the opportunity of meeting Marley when she was at a luncheon that I attended, and I thought she would make a perfect guest. She's got a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and I couldn't believe someone so young really was a philanthropist and someone who was spreading a message of performing acts of random kindness. So I guess I don't need to ask you what you love doing and what you're most passionate about, but why don't you tell our listeners?
Absolutely. From a very young age, I feel I've been called to service, and I answered that call pretty passionately as a young person. In high school, graduated with over 5,000 hours of community service, where I think the requirement is like, I don't know, a couple of hours or so. In the service of others, you really, there's a beautiful quote that says, to find yourself, just lose yourself in the service of others. And I was blessed to do that at a very young age. And it's just snowballed into my career and everything that I dedicate my life to, whether it's speaking on stages, spreading a message of kindness and inspiring people, or whether it's teaching my yoga classes and really allowing people or holding a space for people to connect with themselves and that true inner spirit of kindness and unconditional love that we all have, or whether it's creating the events that I put on that are really meant to inspire people to come together and, like you said, participate in a cause that they really care about.
Well, now, what made you start your own business?
So I think I started my business almost 6 years ago, and my back as a waitress. I've worked in corporate America. I also worked for government for a little while, and it was all service-oriented jobs. And one day, I had already graduated, had my bachelor's, my master's. I'm sitting in my office at work, and I just realized that I wasn't really living to my full potential, and I was kind of bored where I was, and I realized that I'm extremely passionate and creative in my own way, and I never set out to be a business person, but I in that moment I just decided to quit my job. I gave a 2 months notice, and I started my business. I figured if I've been planning events for over a decade, I can surely make it on my own. And I took that leap of faith, and 6 years later, here I am with a pretty successful businesses, and the ability to give back through my foundation. So I think it was just a point of what's next that I reached, and what was next was creating my own business.
Well, you have this 5K Park Fest, and you have a park project. I don't know if those two are connected or not, but tell us an idea of some of the other events that you've created, and how do you find people who are looking for someone like you?
That's beautiful. What a great question. So really my roots in events really started at age 15. I had somebody from the American Cancer Society come to my school, make a presentation about Relay for Life. Not sure if you're familiar with that event or not, but Relay for Life is quite arguably the most successful fundraising event ever created. It's the same event all over the globe. And it was started by one man, by a doctor, that decided to run around a track and ask people for donations in order to keep him running and create awareness and raise funds for cancer research. And at that age, I didn't know anybody personally that had suffered from cancer, passed away, or survived. And what I realized is that everybody in my club had been connected to this cause. And here I am as the president of the service club, and I was inspired to park almost a year of my life to starting this Relay for Life in Miami Lakes. When I graduated, went to FIU, I started the FIU Relay for Life, which to date is the largest student-ran philanthropic event, I think, in all Southeast Florida, if it still holds that title. And it's raised over $500,000 in the fight against cancer. And we started this event with myself, my mentor, who's a cancer survivor, and 3 other people on my committee. And what I've realized is that when you're on your path and you're on purpose, people are magnetized towards you. You find the opportunities, you find the people when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So how do I find the people? It's really been by always just being on purpose and sharing what I'm passionate about, what I'm working on, and the people that are aligned with that will come. And it's been the case over and over again. So as far as some events that I've produced, definitely the FIU Relay for Life is it's kind of my legacy that I left on campus. It's still a wonderful event growing every year that I'm still a part of. I'm also, with the 5K Park Fest, that's actually our signature event for Park Project. And what's interesting about our 5K Park Fest is, unlike any other 5K, ours allows park participants to choose what charity or what cause they want to donate to, what they want to benefit, rather. So I plan the event and invite the entire community to leverage what I've created so that they can raise money, raise awareness for whatever cause they care about without having to plan a huge, large-scale event, which is obviously a daunting task.
Wow. Well, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor, so I can appreciate everything you're doing. However, you are not an older person. You are a young person, Marley. And what on earth possessed you or allowed you to become a philanthropist? I mean, usually you think about that as an older person who's made gobs and gobs and gobs of money and gives because now they've done everything they want to do. So this is their next big deed, so to speak. But you're still young and you're still on the way up. So where did the philanthropy come from?
What a beautiful question. And I speak about this when I go to schools and on any stage that I have the opportunity to speak about philanthropy. I have only owned that title as of the last maybe 3 to 4 years. But what I realized is I was also very intimidated by that word, to be a philanthropist. When I was in school, in high school, I remember wanting to be a philanthropist because I looked up to the Mother Teresas, the Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings. And I'm like, wow, like this is the kind of change that, I feel in my heart I want to make in the world. But I've got to have a ton of money. I need my name on buildings. I got to write the big checks. This is so overwhelming. I guess, I'll be a philanthropist when I'm old. And what I realized is as I continued in my journey of service of others, that is philanthropy. Philanthropy is simply the innate desire to be of service to other people, to make an impact in the world, to make a change. And my 4th grade teacher, Miss Marcia Gyro, who I just recently connected with at the 5K Park Fest, told me something in 4th grade that always stuck with me. In order to make a difference, you do not need money. You do not need anything outside of yourself in order to make a difference, in order to change the world, in order to change someone's life. And that at its core is the essence of philanthropy. That's the essence of Park Project, of my message. It's really something that I live and now I share with others in order to inspire them to also own their philanthropic desires every day. And it could be a small act of kindness, it's never wasted. Or it could be a quote unquote large act of kindness, like writing a big check and having your name on a building. It's really just what's within your means to do, and whether that's financially oriented or just like I have always given is my time. That's really all I had to give as a young person, was my time, my heart, my energy, my voice. And that is more than the definition of being a philanthropist. So now I own that very proudly, and I share that message with young people in order to inspire them to also be, the Malala Yousafzai, I always mispronounce her name, but to be the young people that can really step up and make a difference simply by using their voice, by performing an act of random kindness on a daily basis. That is the essence of philanthropy, in my opinion.
Well, that's fabulous. I mean, that's a great definition, and it's one that I hope our listeners will take to heart, because there are many people who don't have the resources in terms of dollars, and they have their time and they have their passion. So
Absolutely.
it's a great way to look at philanthropy, and you've done a very good job of talking about it. Now, you are also a yoga teacher, and it's very interesting because, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be interviewing someone who just wrote a book on yoga for kids, and I'm not a yoga practitioner. I've tried to do it. I don't do well at it. I like things that are more with weights and sculpting and movement and things like that. But tell us the kind of yoga you practice and you teach.
Beautiful. So I've been practicing for a little over 5 years, and yoga is really something that found me, that called me over and over and over again. And I resisted it for many, many years. I've never identified myself as, or I had never identified myself as someone that was a yogi. Very high energy, as you could probably tell. I, had all sorts of limiting beliefs and false ideas about what it meant to practice yoga. And I resisted it for a long time. And it was through a friend performing an act of random kindness for me when I first started my business. And Marlene, I really see you incredibly stressed out and overwhelmed. You should really try yoga. It'll help you calm your mind and, release stress. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm desperate at this point. Let's just give this yoga thing a try. And it took a little bit for me to open up and put down my walls to really receive any kind of peace of mind. But once I did, I was hooked, and I've been practicing ever since. I received my certification for being a teacher last year, and I've been teaching for over a year and a half. And the style of yoga that I like to teach is beginners, kind yoga. I really want to focus on introducing yoga to the person that was like me, that would have never thought to try yoga, that had all sorts. I'm not flexible enough. I'm too high energy. I don't have the time. I can't do a push-up. I can't stand on my head. All the reasons that we tell ourselves that we can't do something. I really want to reach those people as a living example of somebody that thought all those things and more. And here I am doing the yoga and teaching it. So I focus on beginners. I focus on teaching kind yoga, meaning light stretches, really focus on your breath. I grew up with asthma as a child, and I thought that, I had a problem breathing, that I, had smaller lungs than other people, or I was just somehow lacking in breath capacity. And yoga taught me that I have incredible capacity to breathe, and that's really all I ever need to focus on in order to help me get through life, everyday struggles, and certainly bigger life challenges is use of the breath as a tool to calm your mind, to connect your body, your spirit, your mind all together is the breath. So I really focus on teaching people how to breathe. I also focus on kind of light stretches and the foundational yoga poses, so that when people, after they take my class, they'll feel a lot more comfortable going anywhere and just knowing at least the foundations of yoga.
Fantastic. Well, as I say, I've never really enjoyed it. I've tried it a couple of times. So whether yoga is for everyone or not, I think people would really enjoy your class, Marley. It sounds like you're the kind of person people would like to attend. But what would you give our listeners as a tip on how to breathe and reduce stress? I mean, do you have a tip for our listeners?
Absolutely. Anyone that's listening right now, if you could take your right hand, put it over your heart, and your left hand and put it over your